What's the best form for aiming? Like this? Or like this? Well, what's the best distance from the monitor? How close should your mouse be to your keyboard? Okay then, what's the best seating position for aiming? I studied 100 pros to answer these specific questions. In this guide, you'll be able to follow along and implement the best aiming ergonomics for yourself. But first, let's learn from the best and understand why pros prioritize form and ergonomics. For starters, your form is crucial to your long-term health, comfort, aiming consistency, and performance. If you are a serious competitive player, maintaining a well-balanced form that you can replicate day to day will elevate your gameplay. You often hear do what's comfortable when it comes to aiming ergonomics, but is that truly beneficial? Well, to some extent, yes. Comfort is important. However, I will argue that you can adapt to any form over time. You see, comfort doesn't always lead to the best form. If it did, then I should be able to play like this and hit rank 1, but that's not the case. Now, it's really hard to tell which form is the best just by looking at the pros, because you will see some of them sitting like this and some sitting like this. Like for example, some pros sit very close to their monitor while others keep their distance. The way I measure what's best is by analyzing the data of some of the best pro players in a title, in this case, Valorant. While pros may play in specific forms, it doesn't really always complement their aim. For example, EDG KangKang positioned his monitor in a way he believed that would offer him better visuals and allow him to focus on the crosshair more effortlessly. However, this is a huge sacrifice to comfort, which could cause problems down the line and hinder his consistency. His monitor is positioned too low with a high tilt, causing a large portion of the screen to be out of his central vision. This not only causes eye dryness, but also forces his eye muscles to work harder due to the limited field of view, which is why during the recent VCT Champions, he switched to a more orthodox comfortable monitor positioning. What's comfortable is important, and it's easier to get used to, but it doesn't really always help you break through skill ceilings or stand out as an aimer. Based on my findings, the best approach is to emphasize efficiency while maintaining a balance with comfort. Let's take a look at World Champion MVP, considered to be Valorant's most consistent star, Aspas. Aspas maintains a close monitor distance with his arm fully on the desk and his back straight. The only unconventional thing about his form is his keyboard arm, where his elbow rests on a chair pad and only his wrist is placed on the desk. This helps maintain a straight back and a more comfortable seating position. But according to esports physiotherapists, this could lead to wrist issues over time.
That left wrist pressure, which could cause some problems if there for an extended period of time, or with a lot of downward pressure.
But why the closed monitor? This is common among pros, who often sacrifice comfort and proper posture to enhance in-game abilities. For example, you will notice that a lot of pros sit this close to the monitor because it allows them to react quicker, aim, and zone in more effortlessly. But at what cost? You're fatiguing your eyes quicker, damaging your sight over time, and sacrificing comfortability when multitasking, because it takes longer to shift focus between the map, your abilities, and the info bar at the top. This is the wrong mindset. It shouldn't be sacrifice health and comfort to compensate for skills you're lacking. It should be train those lacking skills while staying comfortable. A testament to this is Texture, the duelist from the best Valorant team in the moment, Gen G. In my opinion, Texture has the best Valorant ergonomics in the esports scene, and he's as reactive, if not more reactive than Aspas. So what is the best form and how can you implement it? I'll show you the best aiming ergonomics that balance both efficiency and comfortability, so make sure to follow along. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a doctor nor a licensed physiotherapist. The advice I give in this video is researched and tested, and all the information in this guide is supported by licensed physiotherapists. So please experiment, consult, and then implement. Before diving into the tips from this guide, let's establish a starting point. Make sure you first sit centered and scoot your chair in until you make contact with the desk. Now you want to maintain this position while adjusting your form. This technique will also serve as a method to replicate your setup daily. This will also help you avoid unintentionally changing your form. Let's start with monitor distance. A lot of guides will tell you an arm's length is your best bet. Personally, when I tested this method, it has always felt off, making it too hard to aim and even harder to zone in. But I can see why this is suggested, as it is the safest option. Now, sitting too close did improve my aiming abilities, but my consistency went down, because this caused my eyes to fatigue and dry out quicker. P.S. One method to combat dry eyes is blinking. Blinking produces moisture, which is why Aspas habitually blinks when he's streaming. To prevent fatigue though, make it a habit to look away from your monitor occasionally to help give your eyes a break. The best monitor distance I found is an elbow's length, and I do this every time I switch setups. All you have to do is place your hand on your shoulder and extend your elbow out. This is where I want my monitor to be. I find this position gives me the best of both worlds: eye comfort, the ability to multitask effortlessly, and the ease of zoning in. What about monitor height? Placing it low is common among pros. It offers easier crosshair placement memorization, but at the cost of long-term neck pain. Placing it high, on the other hand, provides better neck support and posture. A lot of guides will tell you to level the monitor's top bar with your eyes and to avoid having it too low. For my testing, I found the best way is again a balance of both. Placing it in the middle allows me to be snappier, makes crosshair placement habitually easier, and helps me avoid neck pain. One way I like to find the balance is by making a fist and placing it on the desk between the monitor. Then all you have to do is just curve your thumb like this. If the monitor touches your thumb, then that's a good balanced height. When it comes to monitor tilt, tilting it forward is only necessary if the monitor is too low. Now this helps your eyes align comfortably with the crosshair without bending your neck downwards. Most pros with low monitor placements tilt theirs forward for this reason. However, if you use my method of having your monitor 10% lower, you won't need to tilt yours forward, since this specific height allows you to align with your crosshair without much neck bending. Let's move on to chair height and arm placement. The common pattern among pros, even the most consistent ones, is that your arms should sit neutrally and comfortably on the desk. If the chair is too low, your arms will be lifted, making aiming more uncomfortable. But this lift on your arm actually provides natural control and stability. Now, if your chair is too high, you will be forced to lean forward, and this causes shoulder pains. The best approach is to again strike a balance between both. First, sit straight. Then adjust your chair height so that both arms rest on the desk comfortably, with no tilting or leaning. Next, lower your chair slightly, around 5%. This slight lift on your arm sacrifices a bit of comfort for better control, but it's not overdone. That being said, what about keyboard and mouse placement? How close or far apart should they be? And does it matter? Yes, it does, because aim and movement synchronization are fundamental to your gameplay. So where you position your keyboard and mouse plays a key role. Most pros tilt their keyboards at an angle. This practice originated because players previously didn't have much space. They either tilted their keyboard or placed it on the mousepad, which minimized their aiming space. However, if you look it up, it will say that this is to reduce fatigue and strain. From my testing, fatigue and strain have little to do with it, since you're not really moving your arm much when you're using the keyboard. It's more about wrist and finger placement. That's why Aspas positions his keyboard so that only his wrist is on the desk. This supports his back better, as placing only the wrist on the desk naturally straightens your posture by pushing your arm back, as opposed to having your entire arm on the desk. I found the best way is to place your keyboard and mouse close to each other, something I picked up from playing League of Legends for 8 years and even reaching top 70. In League, you're constantly moving, dodging, and spamming abilities. Having the keyboard close is the best way to enhance clicker activity and synchronization with your mouse. This is something called spatial coupling. According to scientific research, when your hands are close together, the brain treats their movements as more connected, making it easier to coordinate actions. Instead of processing each hand's movement separately, the brain handles them as one unified task. This reduces the mental effort needed to manage both hands at once. And this is why placing your keyboard and mouse close together can enhance your coordination and overall performance. I would place my keyboard so that it's touching the edge of the mousepad. This gives me a good balance in terms of syncing without intruding on my aiming space. I then tilt my keyboard slightly inward so that my wrist resting position and fingers on the WASD keys feel very natural. After testing various positions and mimicking the pros, I found this to be the best form when it comes to mouse and keyboard placement. Now, this method isn't set in stone. It still needs to be reviewed and verified. However, I'm confident that if you're lost in terms of ergonomics, how to sit, and how to position yourself, this video should offer you a good head start. We also understand that there are factors that makes it complicated to implement this form, such as smaller desks or unadjustable chairs. So let us know in the comments what problem you're facing and we will personally help you out. So if you've implemented this form and it feels good, the next and most important step is implementing this daily. This is crucial because changing your form, whether intentionally or unintentionally, can hinder your consistency. It's one of the many factors that can make your aim feel different from day to day. This is why most pros spend 10 to 15 minutes before games to feel their usual form. So to replicate your form daily, just make sure to use the starting technique we've covered earlier. Lastly, we want to emphasize avoiding obsession. Many competitive players are perfectionists and often fall victim to the rabbit hole. I've seen so many players have one bad game and then change everything. Their settings, monitor distance, chair height, and their placement. It's important to understand that your form, like anything else in the game, takes time to adjust to. And most of the time, bad games have nothing to do with your ergonomics. So be mindful of that and avoid becoming obsessive. Here are some rapid tips to further improve your form. Blinking and eye exercises. Remember to blink regularly to prevent dryness and keep your eyes comfortable. Eye exercises can also help protect your vision sight, maintain eye health, and improve focus. Stretch before and in between games to reduce fatigue, prevent strain, and improve blood circulation. Use an arm sleeve. An arm sleeve can help extend the life of your mousepad and also promote better blood flow. Invest in a monitor light bar. A monitor light bar directs light downwards, reducing eye strain and dryness. See you in the next one.